if people can benefit and grow from it, that's only contributing to our awakening as a collective.
I
And
guess
everybody have to do their best they can with what they know.
I guess I'm in the process of just releasing the fear, because it's like I think a lot we've been hiding a lot. Like a lot of us that are
We have,
elevated have been
yeah,
hiding for a long time. Um, and especially with the fear of being deceived or being infiltrated,
yeah,
because of what happened so long ago and how swell they did it. And so I wanted to say earlier too, like as we're coming into these awarenesses of like the ancient magic and the Merkaba, I didn't really get to tap in too much, but as you guys and as we come into this sacred knowledge, in order for us to be grounded within our etherical body and our physical body and not lose our minds, we have to meditate. You have to meditate. And it looks different for everybody. I'm struggling with the routine and the discipline, but I just want to share that. So because what happens is if you're not grounded and you open yourself up and you're vulnerable. So I just wanted to share that too.
the thing about meditation is you are exploring the limits of your own mind and
Mm,
you don't even know it. Because
mm,
when you allow the mind to relax and be itself, it's like water. It's trying to get back to source. And the only way for it to do that is to draw itself to a higher level of consciousness. So it starts to expand the mind. That's called a transcendental meditation. When you find out that you can do something called kinetic meditation, where you can be functional. Excuse me. You can be functional in this world and at the same time doing a meditation while you performing a function.
yes, sir. I received that.
Right. Yeah. So you learn that through learning like Tai Chi.
Yes, sir.
Tai teach you to how to meditate and move at the same time. Also, Qigong. Qigong teaches you how to meditate and move at the same time. That way you can go about your daily affairs and still get your meditation in the middle of the day. You don't have to sit still and stop your life to meditate.
Okay. I don't want to hold you because I know you've been giving so much energy, but don't be a stranger on here.
Oh, I'm not. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna be on here. I wasn't planning on coming back on, social media till after January.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a time of reflection. They have to go back because I didn't put so much information into the public domain. Some people got to go back to catch up.
No, that's
And
a
if I
fact.
and if I keep doing videos on a regular basis, I'm just repeating information over and over that's already out there for them to review.
Yes, that's a fact. That's what Spirit's been calling me to do too. Is like, don't take another screenshot of another nothing. You need to go through all your screenshots, organize them from all the homeopathic remedies to all the spiritual remedies to all the information about the history and everything. I need to sit down with a notebook and just write it down and organize it and get to it. Like writing it down is going to imprint it in my mind for me to memorize it anyway. And whether you're an audio visual learner or a doer where you have to learn it, it's going to be imprinted. You have to exercise that muscle. So Spirit's like, don't take another screenshot. Don't post. And then another thing too is social media makes us feel like we're doing the work, makes us feel like we're doing some type of work when we take a screenshot or when we post something on our stories or when we regurgitate something, or even if we say a download. And it's like the actual work is in the living. Yeah, you have to do the
Mhm.
emotional spiritual work, but you got to live after that.
But
So
every now and then, you told to be still so that the
oh
energy
yes,
can catch up. The
I feel like
energy
it's
has
been
to
called.
the energy has to catch up to you
Yes,
because
sir.
you can outwork the energy where when it do come in, it come in and knock you off your feet.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
I
it's
hope
like
a bus come in and knock me off my feet. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No, I'm not universe.
you knock me off of my feet now,
And
mama. Yeah, so right now a lot of people are benefiting from a lot of the information, especially these young lions roaring. They
yeah,
not buying that slave ship bullshit no more. They not buy. They know who they is. They telling they peers, right? And now we at event horizon. Any minute now, something big is gonna pop off. That's gonna show us what we've been doing in secret in the public. You know, so it's yeah, yeah. And now the convergence is real of the organic people because now we seeing Chief Warhorse calling for people, Ice Cube calling out people, right? Now remember, Ice Cube is a piece of water that's froze, right? So
right,
and it takes some heat to thaw out the ice,
right.
right? So he out there, putting it out there, he drawing the heat. When he finally come with the bombshell, because he laying the foundation for a bombshell announcement that he have,
Hmm.
you know. But he got to start saying them gatekeepers' names for protection. Because if he don't start saying their names, they gonna try to send somebody undercover at him, one of them secret assassins.
Right.
He put their name out there. Now motherfucker know who they is. If something happened to Cube, we know who to go get.
Like, what do you mean? Say their name. Like, say whose name?
The gatekeepers that he calling out,
Instead of being subliminal, just say it.
and flat out say their name. Because if he
Yeah.
don't say their name, we don't know who to get if something happened to him. If he say their name, we know exactly who to go touch. And half of California want him to say their names because they the ones that want to go get them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Let them touch Cube. You ain't never seen Cali stand up. Let them motherfuckers do something to Ice Cube.
Yeah.
You're going to see Bloods and Crips and Lokes all together, bikers, all that shit. They not buying that shit. They know what time it is. The tribe's on the move.
Yeah, that's why they bringing in the alien stuff. Like, well, one thing is that they want to further separate. Ye are God, so certain things in our anatomy make us certain things. And so if they start to instill fear when the rescue is about to happen, it's like you won't know who's your real savior. Not like that, but like who's your real partner in this help game. So they just trying to figure out which way to kind of maneuver the fear tactic, really.
Mm-hmm. But now we telling them the ones that look like us that's misleading the people clearly how to identify them. See, if they mislead them and they don't know no better, we can teach them. But if they're doing it on purpose, we can get rid of them.
Exactly. So what? Okay. So what do you think about judging people by the color of their spirit and soul? By their heart and by their spirit, by their character, as opposed to the color of their skin. How do you feel about that?
Look, it's 12 daughters of Isis. That's the major earth tribes. 12 daughters of Isis. They got all different skin colors and all different hair textures. You have some of them that's coal black with straight hair, and you got some of them that's pale white with afros, and everything in between. The problem is these hate doctrines have us looking for excuses to dislike other people that keeps us further divided, right? I know some pink people that I go to war with before I take anybody that look like me.
Me too. I'm starting to meet some, and that's what's really getting me. It's like, I've seen people who are stubborn and egotistical that look just like me, and I've seen them who look different. So I'm starting to see like the human nature in it all, and it really being about the individual's actions,
Mhm.
and their actions tell you where their heart and their mind is. The heart and the mind is connected, and that's the spirit, that they're holding within them.
One of the
So
things that us over here not aware of, it was white girl magic that kicked the Moors out of Europe.
exactly, because they were jealous of the melanated goddesses, and so even though it's a
No,
patriarchy right now,
no, no, no.
they
You
saw.
gotta know who came over here to usurp us to understand what I'm telling you, the magnitude of
Okay.
it. The Moors came over here as conquistadors, English, Dutch, French, and Portuguese. They whitewash history because they the ones that's the free white persons in law. They came over here because they got kicked out of Europe. Now remember, they say the Moors civilized Europe. Why would you kick out your civilizers? What was they doing? Go look at the statuary of Rome. They was fucking the babies, drinking blood. So
Mm,
white girl magic kicked them out of Europe first before they came over here with that bullshit with Columbus.
okay.
They, they kicked them out for the same reason we trying to get rid of them. Parasitic
Right.
ass motherfuckers.
Gotta go.
Rem- when they use pale faces to block the institutions, we call the people that already whooped their ass over here to give aid and assistance to us, and they was pale faces. Because Big Mama said if they gonna block the institutions with the pale face, overrun the institutions with friendly pale faces, and that's how you beat them at their own game.
Right.
So go back to the early 1900s, you'll see all of these pale faces putting their secrets out in the public. Your Charles Russells for the Jehovah's Witness, Joseph Rutherford, your Mary Baker Eddy's, your Madame Blavatsky's, your Aleister Crowley's, your Franz Bardon's, your Manly P. Halls, they all putting their secrets out in the open so we can get free, right? If we don't overrun their institutions with friendly pale faces, we will never know what these motherfuckers doing in secret. But they still pushing the divide and conquer race doctrine.
Yeah.
Yep,
And see,
Jordan Maxwell was very instrumental. He was the one who made the clearest understanding of the Admiralty jurisdiction masquerading as our government, right? Right. So when we looking at these people, we got to realize all of them people wasn't against us. It was more of them with us than it was against us. Yep, Anton LaVey, the Church of Satan. See, we ain't going. Yep, Dolores Cannon. All these pale faces that was coming to help us to get free from the same motherfuckers that was raping their babies and drinking their baby blood they kicked out of Europe. Now we done already been displaced from our castles to go fight in the Gullah Wars. So we call for the people that whoop their. What y'all do?
call your big
So
cousins. You call
yeah.
your big cousins.
So when they all gave when all of the so-called white witches was telling us the nature secrets that Big Mama taught them. You got to go back to the Salem witch hunts. The Big Mamas of this land was coaching them white girls, getting burnt up at the stake for telling them how to use yoni magic to heal the earth.
So is it fair to think that even in the 400 years of slavery, the atrocity that the melanated people experienced, that we have white brothers and sisters also experience the same thing at the same damn time?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the slave narrative was derived from the Moors bringing pale-faced slaves over here with them. They wasn't bringing Negroes from Africa. They was bringing pale people from Europe, Mongolians from the wars with the Huns and the Mongols, and Vedics. These are the ones that they passed off as Native Americans to sign contracts as if they was us. We didn't believe in selling the land. Had they not written the Constitution in the blood of Crispus Attucks to put us into this conjure war, they never would have been able to be here this long.
Right.
There was a 200-year um uh 200-year conjure under the George Washington Challenge. And in the 200 years, you gonna know what side of the ocean you from. So now they got everybody geared to tell us that we from Africa, but we was already here. I tell them motherfucker in a minute, I'm red Mississippi clay dirt walking.
See, and I think another reason why America's so open to all of the other countries, like, you know, telling them to bring their disabled and all of these other things here, and all of, you know, selling them an American dream, is because when you come to a new world and you don't know the language and you don't have the education, you can be programmed in a way, in whatever way they want you to. And then if you're not really connected to where you are from, then you can be further lost in the confusion, like, as well.
So you also have to review the epithets that America is known as: the great melting pot, the land of milk and honey, God's country, right?
Can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
So with you saying the melting pot, I felt like I was thinking that before all this, like in ancient Kemetic times, it had already been that. Is that something fair to say?
Yeah. America's always been the place where the world sent their orphans. This is why when they came over here, we had every shade already here, because we already been taking orphans of the world in to the tribes over here. And they took our kindness to mean we was weak. And they launched attacks on multiple fronts. Then they tell the story of what we did as fiction, and they tell the story of what they done as great conquests.
Right.
Right. So this how you know when they lying and when they ain't. They said the Caliph of Queens was made up. Caliph of Queens was a matriarchal council that governed the entirety of west of the Rocky Mountains, from Alaska all the way to Hawaii and the Samoan Islands. And they had a castle where Alcatraz is, that the Spanish Armada bombed. See, we don't,
like spellbound, or
right. Then they turned it into a military outpost. And that's why on the maps they paint California as an island, but the island was Alcatraz. And the castle replica is the Disney castle that you see on all of the Disney movies. Because they built a replica on land after the fact to commemorate the castle that was destroyed on the island. But we ain't supposed to have that much awareness of our culture to put the pieces back together.
right.
Right? The Chiquita Banana Lady was the Hawaiian Califia Queen. She was the one who was their delegate to the Queen's Council on the island. Right? And they had women warriors that protected it, because they didn't want the men interfering with the women doing their business with the children. Right? Right? The men had a different role to play under that matriarchy. Yeah, they some slime balls.
Yeah.
Then they told us
Yeah.
it was a fictitious story.
Right. But they weren't counting on the feeling of it being real for us, reawakening something within us.
Yeah.
Not too sure.
Yep, that's the story of Wonder Woman. It's the same fucking story. A lot of us don't remember when they first drew Wonder Woman. Originally was a black lady. Right? She was melanated because that was the Califia queens. They usurped her because they was trying to whitewash the hero image. But it's still the white lady's gonna tell you the same as the black ladies about the matriarchy. When you get done, you can't have heaven on earth without a matriarchy. It won't functionally work. It'll be what we see now. All kind of military exploits, keeping the children always at war with their inner self so they can't never have a realization of their true self. The matriarchy teach every child to be their best self, right? And reinforce that across the whole village. When we recognize the talent, we encourage the child to cultivate the talent. They don't do that no more. Now, if you ain't playing basketball or football, they want you to sit your ass down somewhere. Ain't no respect for doctors and lawyers no more. Even though these ones that's in these positions now are being misled and miseducated to push somebody else's agenda, it's still, athlete is not supposed to be the go-to career to have. It was supposed to be for special people with exceptional talent.
Literally.
Now they turning that shit into something else. I don't know what they doing. Destroying the children with this shit. But we ain't supposed to say nothing. We supposed to just go along to get along. Got the wrong one here. I'm going to say something. I want to tear something up, but they keep telling me we brain banging, we ain't gang banging, and we shouldn't have to go to war. All we should have to do is assert our position collectively. Okay.
Yeah, I saw something today that said we don't necessarily need more believers in God, but we just need the believers in God to act like it.
Yep. That's it right there. And once they realize that the first principle of everything is love, then we can move forward at light speed. And I be like, I don't want to hear that love shit. I be the first one telling motherfucker, I don't want to hear all that love shit. We at war right now.
You know what's
but when the war over, I want my war story to turn into a love story. Fuck the dumb shit. Who want to be at war forever? I want my war story to turn into a love story. I want to go from motherfucking...
Because you level up when you're in love. You feel invincible when you're in love. When you're in love, you take on every fucking day like it's a great day.
Bring that shit on.
Good loving. You like, you know what? Your mind start thinking different. Your energy start being different. You start feeling different. So that's why the first step is to really love yourself. Like, love yourself first, so that you can really attract that real life love. Be honest with yourself first. You can't lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself or you want to bless you. But you can't lie to the Most High, so you wondering why you keep getting people, bless you. You wondering why you getting people who shady and all the McGrady's is because you're not 100% in your light and in your truth.
And that's why I'd be hard for me to associate with certain people. Be like, hell no, I'm not going over there where y'all at. Y'all niggas retarded.
Yeah, some of us are called to be hermits and to pop out once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But don't lose that.
I come out on a regular basis if I was going somewhere.
Yeah.
And if I ain't going nowhere, what the fuck I don't want to just be out there hanging around rogue people.
Right.
For no reason.
Right.
That's the thing. People like to go somewhere without a reason.
Right, just to be outside or something.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Why was he over there? He got how he get shot? Why was he over? I don't know what the fuck that motherfucker was doing. I told him to take his ass over there.
Right.
He wanted to go see. Right. I gotta go see. Let me go see. I don't need to see. Curiosity killed the cat. I ain't that curious. I already can sense what's over there. I don't need to go.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. That's a fact.
Have them look. You know the word God, right?
No, you know.
Listen. I'm pointing
Okay, I'm listening.
something out to you. In the 12 children of Israel, one of them name was Gad, Gad. Now here go the kicker. In English, the same word is God. Now Gad mean a troop.
A
A
troop,
troop,
like a group?
yeah. But if you say a troop, that's a military contingent,
Right.
right? Now this one of the children of Israel. So all of this time we've been talking about the creator. We've been
Oh
talking about
Lord.
one of the children of Israel.
Oh
And God
Lord.
we trust, right?
And
So as long
more?
as we trust in God, his brother Levi can issue a system of levies and liens in order for the Judas to judge us. It's all contract. It's all in Leviticus.
Okay.
Genesis and
Okay.
Leviticus, they tricked the shit out of us with that shit.
That's
Oh, they tricked us so bad.
that's
And look,
crazy.
I laugh now to keep from crying because they tricked the shit out of us. We were so fucking tricked.
They had to
We
have
was
done some type of spell work. I feel like when they took down the towers back then, that shit, they must have did something.
look. This is what made me start trying to put the pieces together because they didn't want us to study voodoo. Because then we learn how to break curses, and we
Yep.
learn how to and then we learn how to answer the questions that the universe has. And then we get to, when we can answer the universe questions, it tells us who we are, right? So why they don't want us to learn voodoo? So I started studying voodoo, and I was like, oh shit, now I see why. Blood magic.
Right.
So I started studying blood magic, and I realized that the Constitution was written in the blood of Crispus Attucks. How do I know this? He was the first sacrifice of the Conjure War.
Mm.
They wrote the Constitution in his blood because you can't spill the blood of the righteous in vain, and that's how they instituted the George Washington 200-year contract. They put us
Mm.
all to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they put us all to sleep, that level the playing field, the only way out is to study our way out. That's why they kept
Mm.
telling us that we didn't like to read. No,
Mm. Well, that's why they
motherfucker,
made it.
it ain't
Yeah,
that we
that's
didn't
why
like to
they.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all wouldn't let us read.
Yeah. Hmm. You know, there's this anime called Hunter versus Hunter, and one of the things that the hunter does when they hunt the demon is they have like stickers with sigils on them. So they would use it to neutralize the demon spirit in some ways, and then when they would kill them, they would use these certain sigils to release the spirit from like the bondage of it being, being damned to hell. It would, like, some of them would get a chance to redeem themselves, and then some of them would die in a sense to be born into like a new energy. So you know, like, it's interesting that you say how they demonize so many things that actually were a part of our everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
But a part of that too, as we're coming back into the knowledge of ourselves. Hold on, Juju, let me give you the key. As we come into the knowledge of ourselves, the other thing that we're being reminded is, like, how much integrity do we have? Like, you know, when you battling your enemy, I would say possibly, what am I trying to say? Basically, be accountable for your actions and don't be trying to throw magic when you wrong as shit.
That's the morals versus dogma equation, right? Because if you don't follow the moral compass, you will fall into the dogmatic pursuit.
I'm trying
The
to find
moral
the key.
compass exposes the dogma that allows you to walk the straight path,
Mm-hmm.
right? by recognizing the dogma, now you become spiritually impenetrable by bullshit.
Say that one more time.
So it's the morals versus dogma.
No,
That's
just
an
the last
Albert,
part.
right? So when you follow your moral compass, right, it keeps the dogma exposed.
Yes, that's true.
You can tell the difference by following your moral compass because it don't feel right. Dogma don't feel right,
Mm.
right? So by you following your moral compass, it's telling you if something don't feel right, don't go that way. Don't follow that, right? Like God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That's the dumbest shit in the world to me. Why he just didn't kill the motherfucker causing all of the problems? Well, he had to kill his son. If he really the all powerful, like y'all say, he can get rid of the dark. He don't have to kill the light in order for the dark to flourish and kill it later. He can kill it Johnny on the spot.
Mm.
Somebody lying. We getting tricked somewhere.
See, and so with the story, with the story of Jesus, though, for me, again, you are the master of knowledge, so I'm coming to you as a baby in this with my thoughts. But the story of Jesus to me is about a real man. It's about a real Pharaoh who saw the darkness in the ways of his own Kemetic people, the Kemetic royals. He was seeing how they were corrupted. And so they make it seem like it was only Jesus by himself, but he had a whole army. It was him and his whole family, his wife, his children, all of these things that were doing all of these things everywhere that they were. And the family was the sacred house. And so in my thoughts, it's like they tell you the truth with coupled lies to confuse you, you know, to take you away from the fact that Christ consciousness is real, that there were real apostles in the sense of how they say they were spreading the gospel, but these were people with deemed to have powers solely because they honor the divinity within them and throughout the world. But correct me and guide me.
Okay, so first we got to go back to who wrote the New Testament. What language was it written in?
It was English, right? I don't know.
The New Testament was written in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's telling the story about a character that's in Greek. It's written Iesous, right? This character is the one that they say is the king of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the problem with that. The contemporary of the day was a writer by the name of Origen. And a lot of his works was used by the early Catholic Church to write the parameters of the doctrine. In the Nicene Council in 325, they finally came up with a codified doctrine. Now, the contemporary ISIS, because that's the Greek word, Iesous is ISIS. So the contemporary ISIS with the error, you know her as Cleopatra, right? So they trying to kill Cleopatra. They say she got bit by a serpent in her chamber, but they don't have her body. Now, what makes that stand out to me is they have this Christ figure who's called Isis in Greek and is translated as Jesus in English. And the contemporary ISIS of the day being Cleopatra, they don't have the body of the Jesus of the Bible, and they don't have the body of the of the Cleopatra. You see, so deductive reasoning, they took Cleopatra and turned her into a man. That's what you call an Anunnaki war tactic, a beheading of a god. So we need a reference. Where did they do it before that? Before Jesus' story, where did they switch the female god out for a male god? When you go to the pantheon of Greek gods, you run into a goddess by the name of Helen, who Hellenism is named after in the culture of Greece. But when you look at the Rome pantheon, the Helen is a man, and he's the Roman god, right? So where's the story of the ranked Helen? It's the story of Medusa, the dreadlock Gorgon priestess. She was what you call a Psi priestess. How do I know this? It's in her name. She was the number one, or we count like 10 to 1 over here. They count from 1 to 10 in Kemet. The highest rank is rank number 10. In Kemet, rank number 10 is Medu. And the priesthood she was under was the Sa, S-A. So when you say Medusa, you say the 10th ranked Psi priestess. She is the highest ranked of the Psi priestesses. Now, if this is true, that means she have to be accompanied by 2 more priestesses of the of the Psi order. They call them the 3 Gorgons. Medusa was the leader of the 3 Gorgons, right? So they still telling us the Cleopatra story, just in a different culture. So now when you go back and look at the story, you be like, wait a minute, somebody ain't telling the truth. And that's how come every time one of them dudes with the stringy hair and the beard say he Jesus Christ, they know he lying. Because Jesus Christ mean the anointed Isis. Christ means the anointed one. Comes from the root word karas, meaning to be anointed with the oil from the Sobek priestess, who get the oil from the crocodile. The replica oil is called olive oil for ceremonial purposes. So all the time, that's why when the baby boy was born, Heru, in the Bible, they called him Emmanuel, and they didn't call his name no more. How his name go from being Emmanuel, God is with us, to Jesus with no transition or explanation? That's because it's the Isis of the day, Cleopatra, and then her son that's the heir to the throne would be the Emmanuel, which is Isis and child.
Yeah.
It's trickery at its finest. If I didn't know the original story, I wouldn't have been able to pick that apart like that.
But that doesn't that doesn't take away from her husband's position still, right?
They don't got nothing to do with her husband's position. You got to remember the story of Cleopatra. She was having an affair with Mark Antony, and Brutus killed him because she was having an affair with him in the power play.
They killed her. She went into hiding.
So they got the elixir. The movie reference is Serpent in the Rainbow. The priestess give you the dust. The dust put you to sleep for 72 hours. Don't that sound familiar?
Yeah, it reminds me of Romeo and Juliet a little bit, but...
Right. But the 72 hours is the 3 days for the resurrection.
Oh, yes.
So when you watch Serpent and Rainbow, it's telling you how to make this stuff. It's telling you where they got it from and that they currently use it in the operating rooms in America, but it's an ancient concoction created in the islands of America. Right? And then they took it to Egypt. And if they tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because the Egyptians wasn't associated with the people over here, right? Then explain to me the tobacco and the cocaine in the Pharaoh's blood when they ran the toxicology test. Because That
Huh.
stuff was only known over here.
Right.
It don't grow nowhere else in the world.
And the Grand Canyon, the Grand Canyon is a big Kemetic hub. Like that's
That was actually the Egypt was the Hollywood. There was the replica of the Grand Canyon. The original Temple of Isis sat in the Grand Canyon.
mm-hmm.
The replica city of Isis is on the Nile in Egypt.
The
All of
miracle.
those temples over there is replica temples that was over here. The originals are over here. You can tell because they're older and bigger and more worn by time.
Mm.
Right. So when you read the Emerald Tablets, to who he tell you?
Okay.
Right. So everybody be talking about fallen angels. I heard a dude say Tahuti was a fallen angel today. I was dying laughing. The fallen angels, they didn't fall. Angels don't fall. They came down here. But in order to suit the narrative, they have to tell you they fell. So you don't know some of them came to walk as men amongst men in order to fix a problem that couldn't be fixed from the ethers alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, it's just a war thing.
Def-
Family feud.
definitely. That's a lot.
It,
That's why I
it
need my
is.
king God. Where is he? And no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No, I'm not kidding. Let me stop saying that. Thank
You
you
know,
always.
you already know where he at. You need to stop playing with yourself.
I need to level up. That's what's happening. Yeah. Before he finds
Yeah.
somebody else. Don't leave me.
All right, now I'm about to answer some of the questions in the question
Okay.
box, and then I'm about to log off because I'm getting tired now.
All right. Peace.
All right, inbox me.
Okay. I will.
All right. The Lionsgate portal. That's the question I'm on, y'all. What? Uh, what up? This Lionsgate portal gonna be some serious. You know, these portals, gates, stellar gates, stargates. They bring different energy in, and sometimes it'll be dramatic, but sometimes it seems to be uneventful, you know. But you have what's called a window of opportunity for major events to take place when you see these gates open, these stargates open. This is reading the star map, so it's hard to say what's going to happen, but it doesn't surprise me if something good happens. Gematria has a computer. Let me show y'all the story. So Gematria is not controlled by a supercomputer. Gematria is the conversion of things into numbers. Numerology is the translating of the meaning of the numbers, and you need them together. That's why when you see people calculating gematria and finding numerical similarities, that's far as they go when they don't know numerology to translate. Okay, so you got 5 words to come out with the same meaning on the gematria calculator. But if you don't know numerology, you just showing the numbers. You don't even know what that shit mean, right? So that's only one part of the tools required in order to get to the meaning of the numbers, right? But no, gematria is an ancient numerical reading system created by our ancestors. The Holy Spirit is 100% the mother. But in a homosexual cult religion, they have to take the divine feminine mother out of the equation in order to push the patriarchal agenda. She's the Holy Spirit is 100% the mother. Okay, I'm descending to Tucson. I have a question about the meaning of his last name and the association with Rashad Jamal, bringing the reincarnated spirit of Tucson over. Y'all related if you were descending of Tucson, because if he's not a blood descendant, he wouldn't be able to be the reincarnation of Tucson. He had to be a blood relative. Okay. No, going to college won't help you fight past the system. But what it will do is make you a better trained slave. Um, some and you can get to some colleges, but they're not Ivy League colleges where you can get actual classes in like metaphysics and quantum physics. But for the most part, college is designed to train managers to govern the dropouts and the high school graduates. College is not designed to give you a opportunity to be a billionaire. It's designed to stop you and cap your income, and to limit your progress. You don't go to school to get into a career to be rich. You go to school to get a career to support the system. That's the only reason why it's there. Look, if you're a Scorpio, the only person that can tell you how to better understand yourself is you. Quetzalcoatl was an older version of Tahuti. Yes. It's also Kukulkan and a couple of other native names at different times under different cultural rules did the name change. As a Scorpio though, you have to you self guided. You got like you automatically tapped into your own self. If you listening, you will tell yourself what to study next. The ringing in your ear is the activation of certain light codes in the brain that come in on the audio section of the brain where you perceive sound. The vibration comes through the ear. That comes in the left ear off the right brain from the mother line, anterior gyrus, and from the linear logic side in the right ear. I mean, in the right ear off the father line. So if you get in both ears, that means that you are tuning in each side, each hemisphere of the brain to facilitate your logic and your abstract reasoning to converge on one another, and that's opening up your holographic memory. Why are they go black women land grants? I don't understand this question. But I'm gonna tell you this: the mothers of the land. Oh, if okay, okay, so that's not what she meant. This is what she meant. Why is the government giving land grants to black women? Cause it's your shit. and they trying to just keep you from knowing, so they give you a little piece of it so you don't ask for it all back. It's a nice little tactic, but I'm gonna tell you what it is. So playing cards are um, part of the tarot deck originally. There's tarot meanings to a regular deck, and it depends on which cards you get that tells you what they mean. So your ancestors is telling you to learn the meaning of the cards while they trying to give you messages so that you can be able to perceive the messages without the cards, if that makes sense to you. So the cards is the training wheels for the messages you've been missing. So they've been leaving cards to tell you to understand the meaning so that you can get the message. Answer that one. Do I think the moon is a reincarnation? Nobody is reincarnationally trapped. That's some bullshit. You here because you came here to participate in the game of the gods. If when you reincarnate, that's because you're going into a different chapter in your books of life. You might have more than one purpose why you came here, but you can't leave until you fulfill each of the purposes you came to fulfill. It's just contractual. That's why you here. Can't nobody trap you here. This is a free will universe. You come here to learn how to be the best version of yourself. The system in place is a balancing act between opposite energies, masculine and feminine, for you to reach your optimum potential. The moon is a spaceship. It's a battleship. That's why you only can see one side of it, because you see the other side of it, you will see the metropolises and the people and the hustle and the bustle of all the motherfuckers walking around up there laughing at your ass. Reincarnation work like this. You, you're a light body. You want to live the life you want to be Mike Tyson. So when you born, before you incarnate, you map the plot, your path, what's called your life path. You find out what your life path is by finding your life path number, matching that to everything you learned up until the point you found out your life path number. Then you see how they work in harmony together. That tell you what your life purpose was when you came in. Now, once you get done living the life that you chose, the way you chose to live it, you can always have the opportunity to change your life purpose at any given time you apply your will, because it's a free will universe. But assuming you don't learn how to use your own willpower to plot your future and the progress of your life, then you go into autopilot and you follow your book of life unknowingly what you're doing. And as you do this, you live out your life that you plotted prior, what you call your predestined path. Now, once you do that, okay, now you're done. Now you check out, go put on a different avatar, because you got another life purpose to live in order to get your degrees of being from University Earth. In your next life, you might choose to be Michael Jordan instead of Mike Tyson. So now You have to walk the path of learning to play basketball, practicing till you can dribble with both hands, learning how to shoot, learning the subtle movements on the court in order to give you the best position to shoot from. All of this stuff you learning is you following your predestined path, or you could have changed your mind when you got here, applied your willpower, and then wrote a new book of life in real time. Some of us come in with a blank book. If you come in with a blank book, that means whatever your life turned out to be is exactly what you want. So the ritual of baptism go back to the water cleanse, and the water cleanse would originally use baptism rituals was to clean the baby from the birth debris that's on them right after birth. This is the origin of baptism, washing the baby. Then when the priest found that when a person changes their life purpose, they become born again. They pick a new purpose in life. And you anoint them with the oil, or you give them the same ritual you give a newborn baby when you wash them. You wash the old stuff off and welcome them into a new life. That's where it originated. And now, what you got is a financial advertisement for religion passed off as a baptism. So, what was originally a tradition in the Earth tribes, they turned it into a celebrity style display at the churches in order to lure more followers. Is the sky top glass stone vault, and does the sun have conscious free will? The sun does have free will, so to speak, but the sun is an accumulation of the energy, masculine energy given to it from the prime creator. So when it sends out the signals, it alerts the planets under its jurisdiction to respond. It's like your crown chakra tuning in to source and then telling your other chakras the correct alignment. It's the same way a solar system operates to align planets to a sun. Okay, so this question, she asked me if burning what she write down as a manifestation do anything. So when you do that, you harnessing fire magic, and you using the fire magic. Okay, first you took it from the mind, right? That's wind, air. Then you put it on paper. That's earth, tangible, 3D. But then you sent it up into the ethers, spirit, by using the means of fire, the fourth element. So now you use the four elements to reach to the fifth element. And that is what you call um, um, fire magic. When you burn what your intention is, you send it to the spirit. So now you took it from the mind, you put it on the paper, you set the paper on fire. The only thing missing is the water. And a lot of people, when they do it, they have a thing of water close by anyway to incorporate the energy of the water into the magic. The more elements you use in a conjure, the more powerful the conjure is if you're proficient in all of the elements you're using. So it's a good question right here. The the ones who remain loyal, we're talking about your Bushes, your Rothschilds, your Bilderbergs, um, that remain loyal to the dirty Moors, your JDL, your ADL, to push these false agendas will be held just as accountable as the fucking dirty Moors. The ones who came to give aid and assistance will receive the benefit of those who showed favor to us in a time of war, right? So everybody gonna get exactly what they earn, no matter what they look like, good, bad, or indifferent. The work that they put in is the reward they gonna get out. Everybody that look like they so-called white ain't white. 90% of them motherfuckers passing. That's what y'all don't understand. Probably more than that. Nature knows no color line. J. A. Rogers. J. A. Rogers, Sex and Race, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Right? It's more than that, but I'm them just the easiest ones, most palatable to read to understand that there is no so-called pure Aryan white race in existence on this planet because they won't be able to withstand the solar rays to the point we are now. And it's some melanated people that's going to get turned off because they don't have the mitochondrial link to the earth. So the racism doctrines was given to them to hold them in power, and they enforced it. They responsible. For the ones who rebelled against it, they not responsible for the dirt that the dirty motherfuckers did. Right? It's that simple. You gonna get what you earn, good, bad, or indifferent, right or wrong. If you was wrong, you gonna get a wrong man's reward. If you was right, you gonna get a right man's reward. If you was doing the dirt, you gonna get buried. If you was trying to stay away from the dirt, then you gonna dig yourself out. It's that simple. It's this, right? This ain't nothing new. We used to call pale faces children of the moon, and they was part of the family of albinos who had high magic powers by incorporating the energy from the moon called Lilith of Saturn. You used to be able to see Saturn in the night sky, but the Earth orbit has since shifted. So now you can't see Saturn, and they use the moon to block the energy from Lilith to keep the brighter skinned people, the children of the moon, from being able to harness that Lilith energy and light their ass up with a motherfucking fireball in DC from Los Angeles. They don't they did every precaution to prevent us from raising up in power, and the most destructive one is the doctrine of racism. So when you flying in your dreams, it's in order for the dream to have a standout meaning of a spiritual nature to you. But only you can translate what it means by knowing your intentions in the dream or what you was looking for. It's always something attached to that. No, I ain't finna let Why Not back in. Me and Why Not to be on this month for hours, and I'm ready, almost ready to go to bed. I'm trying to answer a few more questions off the question box before I go. Me and Why Not get on here. I'm not gonna go to sleep to 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Um, um, okay. How do Capricorns manage Saturn's disciplinary influence? You have to embody that energy. You have to discipline yourself to a higher level than you do other people, and then that'll make you have to discipline other people less. So the more you discipline you, the less you have to discipline others, and that's balancing that Saturn energy. But that Lilith energy can always send you into a warpath, because when Lilith see injustice, the judge in Saturn becomes destructive to itself in order to establish justice. So you got to always be aware when you're dealing with that Saturn energy, that as the judgmental disciplinarian energy, Saturn will crush you if Lilith tell him to. So having constant dreams of being inside of a video game might be your way of reminding you that you're in a holographic simulated reality assembled for the training of the gods to balance the energy of polar opposites. Look, you have what's called cultural dietary practices. For thousands of years, your bloodline ate a certain way. The more you get to your original bloodline diet, that's why some people go vegan, because their bloodline come from a long line of vegans and they flourish on vegetables alone, where other people require or they bloodline ate certain meats like fish, bison, or like some of them um, ate chicken, turkey. So when you know what's palatable or compatible with your genetic makeup, a good book to read to give you an idea how to look at it. It's a book called Eat Right for Your Blood Type that can help a lot with understanding